and y'all think you're the heroes of this little adventure, but you're not. Welcome to Pandora, kiddos.
So now we're doing the Three Stooges to try to figure out where to go to get away from it, and they find that we're in a dead end and decide to say, well, let's take someone else's branch line. So ironically, it seems to be in UHC about the safest thing you can do to escape someone is to take their branch mine. It almost seems like at this point, if you run across anyone's branch mine, they're not going to be there. So kind of an amusing little, I don't know if I'd call that tip or anything, but you can see we're going to come tearing down the way here. Kind of. And we've got nowhere to go, we're at a dead end. Hey, let's put down the anvil and start doing some more stuff. And this is where things really start to bog down for me, I think, as far as this UHC went, because we're right back into gather resource mode and chant, and, you know, I'm more or less kind of at the point of, well, yeah, I can grab some XP, but I don't have much left. I don't really have much I can combine. There's not much really worth enchanting at this point. I'm in pretty good shape. I'm good on health. I mean, basically at this point, my thought process is let the others get as much experience as they can, because then they're going to be able to you know, get better equipment to kind of help them out a little more with them being as low on health as they are. So this is now the start of episode 5. Oh, I can't even do math anymore. Because to be honest, right now as I say this, I've actually been recording for 2 hours, so we're really not going that much faster than the UHC did to some extent. So you can see I'm going up here. At this point, it's like, nope, there's nothing around here. This part of the world's already been pretty much taken care of. And then Pikachu says, oh, can I do something down here? And I go all the way back down the stairs, bumping my head on every single step of the way, while the others are going to dig up to the outside here. I see you guys there. Aha, it's up here. Not a really great place to come through, unfortunately, but you can see we eventually pop up. We've got a nice little landing spot there, and we're back in the overworld. Now, what do we have to contend with at this point? If I head out in this general direction, I don't think we're quite close enough to see the world border here. But I think the irony is, you may recognize where we came out. Surprise, surprise! We spent a night down here at some point. Someone has built a cobble bridge across. Yeah, we just can't seem to escape the terrain we're starting in, because then just over this hill, in that direction, is where we started, and is our portal. So, yeah, granted by this point it's behind, certainly behind the world border at this point. It's definitely been shrinking fast enough. And right now, our goal is, there's a disappeared from view just because we're taking our time getting down. Right now, we've got enough gold. Now we need apples. So this is where I'm going to be going into kind of what I call defense mode, I guess. You're just going to see me running around here a lot, kind of shift crouching at odd intervals, keeping my eye out to the horizons, because you're going to eventually see that over here, there is going to be someone who does materialize. Now, to put this in perspective, if I remember right, I don't think I actually got a name when it did happen, and unfortunately I want to slow it down a little bit, because when it does, he's not around for long. So I wanted to actually acknowledge who it was. So my apologies if this part of the video is going to get a little boring. And I may actually have to stop recording and come back to it if he flies away too quickly here. But we did determine that was the last person that was on that team. And I can't remember for the life of me who it was. But I do remember it was someone trying to remember where I was when I saw him. But yeah, you can tell I'm just kind of, let's get the supplies down. Droid's getting the furnaces back up. Because at that point I was kind of getting tired of being the furnace master. And I'm just going around keeping an eye out for teams while everyone else is focusing on apples, trees, growing. There's a little bit of cave down here, but not much that could really be explored because someone had already used that to dig down as their entry point into mine. So, but yeah, we're not alone up here on the surface. So DroidFreak's working on some more trees. Any second now I'm going to come by and there's Pikachu back on the radar again. I mean, at this point, like I said, my goal is I'm going to keep an eye out while you guys work on the apples. Because at this point, I'm still only down 2.5 hearts. Maybe 3 at most. So of the team, I'm in the best of shape right now. So I'm kind of like the utility player in being saved here. And of course, we've got stuff starting to spawn in, which is not going to help matters. But fortunately, there's really no reason for us to have to worry about anything from that direction, right? I said right. This is your cue to spawn in. I know you're out there. I can't see you, but I know you're out there. Show yourselves. Come on. Do the right thing and show up. Where was he? I've got a sheet over here that I'm trying to reference on when things actually happened. Yeah, and I stopped after the nether because things are kind of... This is kind of the mellow part of the UHC for us in ways. Not much going on. We're able to stay on the surface for a surprisingly long time without really getting seen or spotted by anyone, which is kind of amusing when you consider we're out in the middle of the plain here. I mean, we are wide open for anyone to come along and spot us or run across us. Now, we have one advantage here is that we've got plenty of we have plenty of places we can duck into the terrain, take cover. We're out in the open, but we're in a defensible out in the open, I guess you could say. So I think that's why when we go along here, we're going to find that anyone who is really kind of coming up, and there I am, shift checking again. And let's kind of keep an eye out and move around and help with furnaces as need be. Oh, there we go. I just didn't see him. The good news is that from where DroidFreak is, Droid would have been able to see him as well. And I think that both of us probably twigged onto him at the same time. And we're probably saved by the fact, might have been saved by the fact that the creeper is down here, and that whoever Lord Ringwraith was going after, he had to kind of think twice. Now, at this point, he's the last survivor of his team. So I do not absolutely blame him in any bit for his reaction to spotting us up here. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get it on camera for very long. So he's come across. He's got eyes on a team that's over here. I'm going to hop back to normal speed. And he's going to wisely say, yeah, I'm going to have none of that now. And takes off running. And before you know it, away he goes. So meanwhile, we're over here. I've seen him. Pikachu's in a spot where he could kind of move to see him. I think Droid has seen him as well at the same time. We're all kind of exposed. Okay, well, fortunately we don't have to worry too much about anything because he's gone off running. He's across the river. There's a hill there. There's trees there. It's one person. We take the time to figure out, okay, it's one person on a team. He's gone. He's not going to come back. He's going to be like I was in the last season. Just take off, keep running, and put some distance between you, and hope that nothing goes wrong. Now, the other spot I'm going to go over to, a little oddly enough, is away from where we're at there. Because meanwhile, over here, we're going to see a little bit of a construct show up eventually. Fortunately, this is all going to stay rendered in distance here. somewhere around this time, if I remember correctly, False dies. Now, for anyone who's thinking, yep, you're avenging the mutton. Well, that's the reason why I put sorta. We didn't drive her to her death. In fact, I don't even know the circumstances behind her death. Like I said, I'm going to be interested in see what happened to her on her own video. But certainly, her team was in the area, shall we say. Don't know exactly where they would have come out, because if they came out through the same portal we'd come out, they would have come out underground. They would have presumably come up somewhere and followed not necessarily the same track we did, because obviously we actually did a lot of backtracking towards the world border, then came back forward to this point again. But we should see something show up here in a little while. I may have to kind of put this in the fast forward because it does take a little bit. But we're just sitting out in the open, nothing going on anywhere. We're just getting, granted, we're not getting the tons of apples. But there's a crafting bench and furnaces that just went up, and they are now actively cooking something. So at this point, someone is over here, and we are right over the hill. Completely oblivious to the fact that anyone's over here, because obviously I can't see the furnaces from where I am. But I am keeping my eye out, so there is that. But you're going to see that eventually there's some more furnaces. Some terrain is being leveled out. And the chunks unloading in the background are because my position's moving just enough to unload them. So at this point, presumably, they're either smelting up gold, or they're trying to do some more iron, or just get some XP for cobble. I mean, we were doing that pretty extensively towards the end. And let me just go ahead and discontinue that bit across the top because we don't really need it. But yeah, we're just kind of happily, blissfully unaware that anything's going on around here. And those furnaces are eventually finishing up. I don't know if anyone actually bothers pulling anything out. You can see Pikachu and Droid are kind of ranging out a little further. The whole team's kind of starting to branch out, and there's some lava getting put down there. I'm not exactly sure why. There's a water pool going down here. I think this might be how False might have died. Someone got lavaed. Someone tried to put themselves out. And, there may have been another team over here that we never even knew about. Yeah, that's amusing that False may have died within, well, not a stone's throw, but certainly a good bow shot or two from here. Maybe they were even kind of fixated on preparing a final fight against us, and didn't realize that they had someone following them. And unfortunately, because of where we're at, there's just no way no way any of us can see without really ranging forward that stuff is on fire over here. That tree is going to go up without us seeing any real sign of it. But we are going to see some effects from what happened there. Well, obviously, because the trees are burning down. Yeah, that is all just out of range. And we've got so many trees, popping up over there. We really can't see anything. But it's a good spot for us to have done that. I mean, it's nice and defensible. We're up on top of a hill. At this point, everyone but myself on the team, I think, has a bow. We've got arrows. We've had flint. We've picked up, feathers from the kills we've had. So we've got a decent amount of supplies. We really haven't spotted any chickens. But, we're doing okay. We're okay on food. Health-wise, we're doing what we can. There's just not much that you can actually do because, well, we're short on apples. First, we're short on apples, then we're short on gold. And at that point, it's like, well, we can either spend all day down here trying to find more gold, or we can just get a move on. So they've basically picked up camp, and I think it's at the very top of this mountain on the right here, if I recall correctly. But I can't say that for certain. Oh, come on, build it already. I mean, obviously we haven't seen anything at this point. I'm still on... I've just been doing nothing but Overwatch up here. I want to spot the first sign of any team down in the valleys here, because I'm the early warning system, essentially. It's been quiet all around here the whole time. Now, keeping in mind, we're still dealing with a shrinking world border at this point, but yeah, been pretty quiet. Can't complain about that, right? Well, it kind of dulls your senses. And we wait, and we wait, and we wait, and we see some furnaces are being taken down over here. So now you've lost all evidence that there's a team here, except for the crafting bench, which will probably be left. And then up at the very top, it's going in right now. Come on, sign. Finish writing. Oh, come on, sign. I don't know if it's because the replay mod hasn't rendered it or what, but there is a monument going up there, and it's just absolutely amusing that this all would have happened within such a short distance of where we're at. Because here we are. There's that little hill. Could have been a very different bit of combat had we gotten charged. That certainly would have been interesting. Now, I'm still on lookout around here somewhere. I don't remember where I am, actually. Where did I disappear to here? Oh, there I am. So again, keeping my eye out. There's not really much I can do, aside from anything on furnace duty. But there's not really much left to do. And we're going to see eventually at some point. Oh, it's always difficult to figure out how many circuits of this hill I made before I saw anyone. Is it this one? Doesn't look like it. Still thinking. Come on. I'm going to see some people over here shortly. Eventually. Maybe. Possibly. Sometime soon. Perhaps. In a little while. There we go. Now, I haven't seen them just yet because I'm on top of the hill. Droid hasn't seen them yet. He's got his back turned. In all honesty, I'm looking more at the creeper down there than anything else. Brazen Hawk's on tree duty. Meanwhile, these guys have got to be sitting here saying, oh no, not again. Yep, that's the remnants of Falls' team. And I bet if I go over here, the sign will be complete now. Yep. Well, I guess you could call that avenged in a ways. So that would be why I kind of said sorta. I suspect that's the falling place of false symmetry on UHC Season 6. If not, hopefully that was someone else she took out with her. Either way, this is what's left of her team. And just to put it in perspective, they are in diamond chess pieces. We are still in iron. All iron except for Brazen Hawk, who's got the diamond chest piece and diamond boots. Frankly, I would have liked to... At this point, my thought was, do I want a diamond sword, do I not? And I had the sharpness 2 sword. I think I was working my way up to the sharpness 3. I can't remember if I actually got it or not. I have to actually go back and watch my in-game footage again. But you can see, yeah, great job on watch duty here. They see us. At that point, I see them. And they take off running. So there you have that. And at that point, we're all kind of like, well, do we go out and get them? Go out and get them? It's like, no, they're gone. They don't have false on their team anymore. And at that point, it's more like, you know what? We need to get more apples and gold. We need to get more apples, period, up here, because we've got to get healed up. That's our focus. And you know what? We've gotten pretty much what we want out of here so far. We've got apples. We need more gold. It's time to pack up base and get a move on. So I'm just kind of keeping an eye out, making sure that they actually are leaving. And it's time to duck back down under the earth again.